Hello and welcome back to the We Are Not Lonely podcast. So today is going to be a callback to the early episodes where I would just sit in front of a mic and rant about a certain topic, because for the first time in a really long time I do not have a set plan for the podcast. I know, kind of surprising. So we're just going to sit and see where this takes us, and I hope you enjoy the ride. So the first thing that we could talk about is my last couple of weeks have been kind of slow. Like I haven't been getting much done productively. First was that weekend where I spent like an entire weekend at Coog, which I've spoken about in my last couple of videos. And then the week just dragged. Like it's been soft, it's been just me taking rest. I've been super sleepy and all of that. But I have been doing my basics, like my sadhana continues. That's the bare minimum these days. I have even stopped posting on Substack. It's been a while since I posted an article there, and I mean to get back soon, right? Because I enjoy writing. Like for example, I had like this brilliant flow of inspiration, and it happened while I was taking a walk with my best friend Bairu, and that's my dog, by the way. So I was taking a walk, and like I was just hit by this inspiration with an idea for my novel. And as soon as I got back, I just sat down in front of my computer and I typed it out, and it felt quite good because that hadn't happened in a really long time. So yeah, so that happened. Anyhow, one thing that I've been doing recently is I've been listening to a great deal of videos by Shri Guru Rohit Arya. So what I understand is that he's actually a yogi, a polymath, an author. He is a person who's released he's a polymath, he's an author. He's the person who's written one of the first books on Vastu in the West. It's been translated into like 5 languages or something. He's also a yogi, philosopher. He also released the Indian Tarot. And he's got a lot of really interesting videos. So he's got 2 channels. I don't know what happened and why he had to go and start a whole new channel. But the first video, like I've spoken about him before, this is not the first time that you're hearing about him. The first video that I came across was his video on the Manipa by Manipa and Sri Aurobindo. So that was my first video, my first introduction to Shri Guru Rohit Arya, and honestly that blew me away, right? Because the entire idea that spiritual people were not supposed to talk about money, they're not supposed to talk about sex, all of these things was something that I had like imbibed from all those people around me. These were wrong ideas, and it was only when I heard Shri Guru Rohit Arya finally speak about this that I was like, oh, that's interesting. This is not what I was told. This is something completely different. I've never really heard about this kind of a view. And since then, like I didn't really go into it. Like I immediately sat down, I took a notebook out, and I wrote down everything that he was saying. And since then, I have been listening to that particular talk multiple times, right? I've listened to his talk on money, on the Manipa multiple times. I've even put out an entire podcast episode about that particular video. You can check it out. I'll leave a link in the description. I'll leave a link to the original video as well. So the idea is essentially that there's this really wrong idea about yogis and spiritual people. And this really cleared things up. So today I ended up sending him a mail. I was like, I just sent him a mail thanking him and saying, like I'm really happy to have come across your videos. It's changed me a great deal. For example, I was watching this one video about the Mrityunjaya mantra, which was last night. And he spoke about how he's mystified that people chant like 7 mantras in a specific setting. And like, it gave me pause, because everything that this person had spoken about was very deep, especially from a spiritual angle. And like, I knew immediately that this made a lot of sense. And this is something that my teacher also told me. He told me to try doing just one mantra for an extended period of time. Like, I remember hearing about it, and I guess it's finally time for that to happen. So, like, when the second person immediately told me, when the second person reaffirmed this idea, I was like, oh, okay, there's definitely something there. So I didn't think about it much at night, but in the morning, when I went out on my morning walk with Bairu, that's when I started thinking about it a lot more deeply. And by the time I came back and I sat down, like, I finished my process and I sat down for my sadhana, I decided to simplify it. I was just going to do specific number of malas of one specific spiritual practice, one specific mantra. And now that's the interesting thing, right? Like, I've also had certain experiences. Like, the past couple of days, I've had certain experiences. I've been overstimulated and understimulated in certain areas. So, for example, I was watching his video about the muladhara chakra and its influence, and that's when things sort of clicked again. Like, the whole reason that I'm so unstable, I have like all of these problems with sleep issues. I'm incredibly sleepy, especially in the afternoons. It's weird because I'm getting like 8.5 to 9 hours of sleep. And I know this specifically because I'm tracking my sleep on a daily basis. So when I watched his video about the muladhara chakra and its influence, things again, they fell in place. Like, it made a lot of sense. I was like, okay, this is interesting. That makes a great deal of sense. So when that happened, I was like, how do I contact this person, right? Because I've always been this really curious person especially when it comes to spiritual things. Like, I've had this appetite ever since I was a child. I've always been drawn to intellectual pursuits. I've always been reading. And when it came to spiritual things, like, the reading reduced and it became more of practice. Like, I would do more, not just read. And this was something that some yoga teachers from the Gokulam area sort of influenced me about. Like, I was asking them, what's the best book about yoga? And one guy was like, The Mat. And that made a lot of sense. So recently I've just been focused on sadhana. The whole idea is that today I'm going to sit down if I have the time. If not today, then I'm going to sit down tomorrow and just figure out, because I'm currently unemployed, like I said, and I have a lot of free time and I want to utilize it really well. I want to use it to the maximum possible. Like, use it as best as I can. Make best use, as we would say in Laidlaw, right? So the idea is that I'm gonna go back to the basics and figure out what I want to do. Like, I've simplified my sadhana, I want to simplify my life next. So anyway, so I ended up sending him like this really long email saying thank you, and I just spoke about a bunch of things that he had ended up influencing me. I sent it about 23 minutes ago. Yeah, so I think the significance is that, like, today is also Ekadashi, and I've had only like palahara, so I haven't even had water since the morning. I had some not bananas. I had mangoes, like 2 or 3, in the afternoon, and like nothing else. I want to reduce it. I want to take it down to just a single meal, maybe even not even drink water. Let's see what happens. Because like I saw another video of his, and the title was "Fasting Forces You to Be Dependent on Prana Shakti," and that immediately, it kind of clicked, like the whole process of why do fasts. Because I've been doing upasana, like I've been doing upavasa for quite some time now. It's a really good spiritual practice, and I've shared it with other people as well, and they found it quite interesting, and they've started doing it as well. So my personal practice is just to have one meal a day, because I do a lot of workouts, and I want to see if I can reduce that. I want to do like a 24-hour fast, just drinking water. So that's the goal. Let's see what happens. But yeah, so this is the thing. This is my current situation. I just reached out to spiritual guru. Yeah, like I was saying, I have this really deep sort of pull towards spiritual matters. I want to keep exploring. I want to keep understanding deeper and deeper topics in the spiritual realm. I want to go really deep into it. So now I've been sort of saying this again and again recently, but my mind is starting to become a lot more focused on earning money. And that's another thing. I've been creating these offers. I've been dissecting my own experiences, my own evolution over the years, and trying to figure out how I could replicate this across different people, how I could share a sort of a journey, a sort of a spiritual practice for other people. Like I'm trying to figure out how to monetize that. And of course, like I don't want to just randomly initiate people into mantras that I haven't practiced. So obviously I'm going deeper into the mantras that I have personally been initiated into, and trying to get mantra siddhi into all of them. So I understand the general process is that people are initiated into one or two mantras, but I don't know if I should say I'm fortunate or unfortunate that I've been initiated into like a lot, like 40 plus. I'm not showing off, maybe I am, but yeah, so I'm trying to figure out how to do my sadhana, because each of them require a sadhaka to do sadhana for certain lakhs. You chant a specific mantra lakhs of times. So yeah, that's where I am right now, and I'm just trying to figure out my next step, man. That's the thing. Like I'm just trying to figure out where exactly I'm gonna be going, because I've had this doubt. Like I'm trying to figure out my purpose in life, and interestingly, like there's this video, like one of the most recent videos. This was actually posted 10 years ago by Shri Guru Rohit Arya on how to find your true calling. And that's going to be the next video that I'm going to watch immediately after this. I'm going to put this podcast to rest. I'm going to watch that video, and then I'm going to edit. Then I'm going to do my sadhana, and then I'm going to go break my fast. This is my itinerary for today. Okay? So, yeah, dude, this is where things are. I know one thing for sure, and that is that my journey is going to be interesting, because I've had an interesting life so far. It would have been wonderful if I had just like a very boring life, but that is not the case. And a friend of mine actually told me a really long time back that having an interesting life is actually more of a curse. Like in Chinese cultures, it's supposed to be more of a curse to wish for a person to have an interesting life. That is supposed to be a curse. And I've kind of understood, oh yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Because I've just been looking over, like I'm 32 now, and I have been through quite the journey, the transformation in my personality, specifically around certain attitudes. Like, I've spoken about this on Substack. I think I've made a video about it as well. But like, this entire transformation of my personality, I was an atheist. Back in 2012, when I got my Brahma Upadesham done, I was an atheist. I used to look down on Jyotishya. And that is completely 180. It's not where I used to be. I'm a complete believer now. I'm an Astika. I believe in the Vedas. I've had Anubhava. I've had multiple Anubhavas, which I'm still trying to digest. Right? Because the whole point is that there is no use of having Anubhavas that don't transform you. So there are certain Anubhavas that I've had like 2 years back that I'm still digesting. I still don't understand what exactly happened. And there are still moments where I have callbacks to that particular experience. I'm being cryptic on purpose, right? Because I don't want to talk about my experiences. Because Shri Guru Rohit Arya also spoke about the dangers of this particular thing. So, yeah, man, like, I'm entirely focused. I've got this clarity on what I need to do. The next couple of days are very clear. It's just that sadhana wise things are extremely clear. For the next couple of months, I know what I'm going to be doing sadhana wise. I just need to break it down. I need to get back to my physical practice. I need to lose about like 5 to 6 kgs. I need to get back in shape. I need to start lifting. I need to start earning money, most importantly. Get a job or start monetizing some skill somehow. Like, I could do Jyotishya consultations, man. I have the requisite knowledge for that, but I don't want to. Like, I'm particularly hesitant to monetize that particular aspect of my knowledge because I've seen certain people who are very clear about their knowledge not being monetized. Like, for example, my family astrologer, who I've seen since I was like very young, like since I was like 5 years old or something. He's been coming to our family for a really long time, and he doesn't charge a specific amount for his readings. I know the game now. I know where he makes his money. It's through parihara, through prayaschitta parihara homas. That's where the money is. And like, it's completely fair because the homas that they do are very well done. They have specific benefits for the individual. I've seen people's lives transform as a result. So I know that what they're doing, what they're saying has a solid foundation. And here's the thing, right? He never charges a specific amount. It's always based on how much ever the other person wants to pay. And becoming an astrologer is a messy business. Again, like, my mother is not very in favor of me being a professional astrologer. Even though technically I've done the sadhana, I can definitely be one. Like, I have the thing. But yeah, that's the situation. So I have to find a way to monetize my knowledge. I've gotten a very clear adesh from my teacher, from my guide, the person who's taught me everything that I know. Like, most, like, let's say 60% of all the 100% of all the active things that I do, all of the sadhana that I do has come from him. Most of the mantras that I've been taught come from him. But like Vidya, Atma Vidya and all have come from other people. I've been very clear. I have teachers for different things. Like, I've been very lucky in that particular regard because I've gotten wonderful teachers in different aspects. I have a wonderful teacher for martial arts. I've had an extremely wonderful and capable teacher for Veda Parayana, which again was taken over by my main spiritual guide. I have an amazing teacher for Atma Vidya, for the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads and all of that. So I'm not particularly concerned that I'm on the wrong path, right? But again, like, there's this greed within me, like, and I want to extend that to money as well, because there's this greed, thirst for knowledge, particularly when it comes to spiritual knowledge. And I just want to collect all of these different sadhanas. And I want my life to be just pure sadhana, which is what sannyasa is. So yeah, that's the situation. It's a very tricky situation which I'm trying to manage. And I think it's really important that people on the spiritual path share their, like, experience and all of this. Because, like, the spiritual path is not easy, man. Like, I've had to overcome so many freaking problems. And I'm still facing problems. It's not like just because I'm in spirituality, my life is like smooth sailing. No. But there are certain, like, aspects that have led to me becoming a lot more wise and better in terms of how I deal with certain situations, right? Like, anger has largely been eliminated by the grace of God. I used to have an extreme short temper. This is something that I inherited from my mom, right? Because she still has, like, massive temper issues. And as I did my sadhana, like gradually I learned how to breathe. I learned how to control my mana, like the mano nigraha happened, indriya nigraha happened, and slowly I started, like, getting in control of krodha. So I've spoken about this at length. There's an entire podcast about, like, my anger issues. Funnily enough, the poster for that is, the thumbnail for that is Super Saiyan Goku. My point is that transformation is the whole point of doing sadhana. You need to transform your personality. The limited ego has to evolve. You have to stop identifying with the body, mind, sense complex. All of these things are hallmarks of progress on the spiritual path. I'm not just saying it because I've actually experienced it. Now I've reached the point where I'm very clear about what I need to do, which is, like, really good, right? I have no more conflict on being this person who has to go out and earn a living, thankfully. I'm no longer conflicted about earning money. I'm no longer going to be a hypocrite, secretly desiring wealth and then looking down on it, because that's the spiritually acceptable thing. And, like, I've had these points, these things have come up. For example, in the Abhyasa bootcamp, there was an entire topic of money, because a lot of yoga teachers have this really bad relationship with money. And there's this cultural expectation in India that you will not be a bona fide guru if you're chasing after wealth, which is utter hogwash. It is utter bullshit. It's not the truth at all. That's not the scene. You need money. I've spoken about this at length in another video, so you can go watch that. I've spoken about the Manipa, Kubera and all of that. So I'm, like, circling around the same topic again and again, because this transformation, I want to internalize it as well. I'm trying to still wrap my head around the whole concept. I'm trying to use that knowledge to go out and act. That's what this whole transformation is. I've also been reading this book. It's another recommendation by Shri Guru Rohit Arya. And I think he was, like, kind of angry when he wrote this recommendation, because I've never seen such pointed language ever. Right? But yeah, so, like, basically this guy who wanted to be in spirituality and be with his family, not be in an ashram. And he was very clear about this. He's like, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your family's time, you're not an evolved being. Just because you're on spirituality does not excuse you from walking the path of materialism. And I'm glad that I read it after my whole realization that I need to earn. Because if I was younger, when I was younger, I had this really wrong notion, oh, spirituality and things should not be mixed. And I'm really regretting the fact that I did not come across Shri Guru Rohit Arya's videos earlier. Because like his videos have been up on YouTube for the past 14 years. He's been doing this. He's got like around 10k subs on his old channel. And he's got about like 4k subs on his new channel. And I think he's really underrated, man. Like the knowledge that he gives out, the wisdom, the gems of, the pearls of wisdom that he drops are just insane. So yeah, so basically he blasted the guy. He said like, you're wasting your time and all. And like it was like kind of like hearing this lesson being spoken to my past self as well, because I had those exact same issues. I thought I was an evolved being and that my family had to support me in my pursuit of spirituality, which is not the case. That's not how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to sustain yourself. I'm very clear about that now. So one of the things that Shri Guru Rohit Arya mentioned in that particular thing was, like, he recommended a specific book, and it's called the Millionaire course by, Millionaire course by Marc Allen. It's about 1,400 rupees. I'm reading that book right now, and it's brilliant, man. I will admit that much. Like it made me do like a bunch of exercises when I had to sit down and figure out what I really wanted, and it helped me write down, like I've already been doing my whole goal thing and all that. Like I'm very clear about that. I have my goals all like in place, but what I'm saying is like this whole exercise where I'm sitting down and I'm actually going through the book, it's taking a lot of time. I will admit, like it's difficult for some reason. I have issues going through this book. I think it's all of these asuric forces that are trying to prevent me from becoming wealthy. Now I have to fight. I have to take my bow and fight. I have to strike them down. You know me, I like being dramatic. So hey, wow, I was on Amazon and I just saw this XP Pen Artist Pro, like the biggest discount that I've seen so far. It's at 78k. It's worth like 1.5 lakhs. It's worth 1.25 lakhs actually. So yeah, man, like I've realized that I have a lot of desires. Like right now, just the most essential things on my cart are worth about 2,700 rupees. And I've got to be in this mode of savings because I've already spent a decent amount of money and I need to make sure that I don't spend any more money because I am currently jobless and I need to find a job as soon as possible. Let's make that happen. So yeah, dude, I think we can end it there. Like I've just been rambling on and on around the same topic, around my obsession with Shri Guru Rohit Arya's teachings, which is really good. I would like again to recommend his YouTube. Go check it out. And that's about it. Yeah, I will see you again in the next video. I'm gonna immediately get to editing this and putting it out on YouTube so that I can, generate the YouTube title, thumbnail, description, and all of that nonsense. Alright, I will see you again next week. Sarvam Shivamayam. This is because of Shri Guru Rohit Arya. Sarvam Shivamayam. Thank you. I'll see you. Bye.